Hello everybody and welcome back here at Adobe Live. I was just staring in the chat and reading your comments already coming in. I'm your host Kladi and I'm so happy to welcome you today with a new episode of How To. So today we have a part 2 of how to create a digital portfolio together in InDesign. And I want to first of all welcome everybody that is here with us in chat on Behance. I can see Nadia, Steve, ciao, we missed you yesterday. We were mentioning and we were saying, where is Steve? I hope you're okay. I can also see our lovely Voodoo Val in the chat. Val, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Super excited to have you here. Biola, Rob, I'm so glad that you see the different name coming up in InDesign. We're super excited. Welcome everybody. If you're watching from YouTube or Behance, make sure to jump on behance.net/live. This is the chat that I'm reading live throughout the stream. So please feel free to come in. This is a safe space here at Adobe Live. I'm always super excited to share this space with you in order to learn together. And talking about learning, don't forget that every day here at Adobe Live, there are so many wonderful creative challenges running again throughout the day. So you'll be able to sharpen your skills in Illustrator, Photoshop, and XD. And today with me also in InDesign. So I'm going to jump right back into my screen to give a little bit of a recap of the work that we've done together and that we started yesterday. And by the way, if you have just joined in today and today is the first day and you missed part 1, don't worry. Part 1 is still available for replay. You can just check the schedule just right below me, and it should be around where it says graphic design. I believe it's in the graphic design showreel. You can find the replay for the stream. But let's jump into my laptop real quick so we can see where we left it yesterday. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and jump on that side on the screen. Let's make it happen just like that. And for everybody here, let me know where are you watching from. I'm in Manchester, UK, and here is 9 p.m. Let me know. I'm always very excited to see where you guys are watching from. I love our international community, and I'm always excited to see where everybody is chatting and watching from. I can see Victor from South Africa. Welcome in the house. Welcome everybody. And again, all your questions are welcome throughout the stream. And I love to know if you're a beginner, intermediate in InDesign, if you're just starting. But also, I'm also super interested to see, are you a designer? What do you do? This chat and this community is a great opportunity also to network, especially today that we're talking about portfolio, and digital portfolio is a great way to talk about your work. I'm a graphic designer and I run a design studio here in Manchester, UK. I'm from Italy, but I'm based in the UK, and hopefully I'm gonna return to travel the world really soon. I can see Canada in the house with I am. Thank you so much. New Zealand, Steve, is 10 a.m. Friday. I can't believe it. You are from the future. That's the power of the live. Fantastic. So keep your message coming. I'm going to keep my eyes peeled on the chat while I work, and I'm going to start by introducing a little bit what we've done yesterday. So yesterday we focused on creating the structure of the document. We focused on creating our workspace. So we created an interactive workspace that is tailored for us to create document that contain buttons and link. In fact, if you see here, I'm going to go ahead and give you just a quick run through. We have split our panels based on content document structure, which contains, of course, pages and layers. And then we have document content with links and Creative Cloud libraries. I'm actually going to go ahead and click on the libraries because we did create a library for our content. And the content that we're going to be using are the wonderful photos by Prince Akachi. Prince, I really hope that I pronounced your name correctly. If not, and hope you're in chat, let me know. And since we're giving him a shout out, let's do that properly. Actually, I'm prepared for that. So let's jump into our Behance, our lovely Behance. And we can see here Prince page here. So we can see his Behance page. Make sure to go ahead and give him a follow. His photography and his work is really outstanding. And again, I keep my eyes peeled on your Behance's profile and on your portfolio. So really make sure to take advantage of this opportunity because I really love to see everybody's work. So Prince, thank you so much for sharing your photos. I'm so super excited to be able to use such a great content for this stream. Victor is saying, I love InDesign for layouts and book publishing. I'm looking forward to our next Pan-African comic book series project, which we're working on. Fantastic. That's so exciting. I would love to see then some of the images. Also, I can see my dad in the chat. That's so sweet. Ciao, Guido. Thank you for joining. I think he's watching from Italy, and it's probably 10 a.m. there. Perfect. Right. So go ahead and feel free to check out this portfolio. It's absolutely gorgeous, and those are the photos that we have added into our library. As you can see, we also used Capture, and I'm just going to show you real quick. The Capture service is integrated now in InDesign. You can click on extract from image, and you can use this wonderful service in order to import any image that you would like to use. And I'm just going to go ahead and give you an example over here so we can get some more assets and more color, and you will see that InDesign, or better, Capture service integrated within InDesign will allow you to extract and capture colors, text, and shapes within from your images and from any images as you want. Again, I'm going a little bit fast because I'm just recapping on yesterday. Go back once whenever you want. The replay of part 1 is available for you, so you can just join and hang out with us in here today, and then you maybe can go back and rewatch it step by step in order to create your project and use the same tips and techniques to implement your project. I think that that's an exciting feature. It's just been added this previous Max 2021 in October. Is being launched with the new version of InDesign 2022, and really allow us to keep our design consistent, because you will be able to extract color from your artworks, from your brand, from your photos, and really make sure that everything is cohesive and everything looks like it's part of the same project. Today we're going to talk about more creating style to have that consistency as well. Tarcisio, nice to see you. Tarcisio from Sicily. Ciao, ciao. Buonasera. We have a little bit of Italian. Thank you so much. Let's see if there is any other question in the chat. And it looks like everybody is just saying hello. Biola, lovely to see you. Christel, Arnold, welcome. Paloma, welcome everybody that is here in the chat. Fantastic. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep going here. We created, the beauty of also extracting these colors is that you can just save it to your libraries right away, and you will see that once you save it, they will appear and they will be added to your library. We're going to go a step further because we didn't do that yesterday, but something that you can do from the libraries is actually use the control key or right click on them, and then from there you will be able to add either one single color or the entire theme to your swatches. And look what happened. Once we click on add theme to swatches, we can head to our panel and the swatches will come up, and you will see that we have a capture color theme number 5, which you can also of course rename if you want. So we can call it Prince color theme 2 or 1 or whatever you want. And then oops, looks like I misspelled his name. Let's make sure that we got that correctly. If you have watched any of my stream, I misspell stuff all the time. Dyslexic, so that happens very often. Apparently is a characteristic of graphic designers, so I don't know. Let me know in the chat if there's anybody that feels my pain here with spelling. But as you can see, not only the colors are available for us to use anywhere, anytime, because they're added inside our Creative Cloud library, so you can access them, organize them, keep them together, bring it with you, and of course share them with your team, with your clients, with your art, with your art director, and with your co-workers as well. So that's a great, I use libraries. I'm just going to go back and show you how many libraries I have here that I share with people, that I use for my clients, for my projects. There are, I don't even know how many libraries can you have, but I'm just going to push it and try to use as many as possible because I find it extremely, extremely useful. Right, so we have our photos, we have our traced image. That's all stuff that we've done yesterday. And also we created our parent page, and that's what Rob was referring to when he was talking about the name, inclusive name changes inside InDesign. So if you double click on pages, you will see that we have an A parent over here that will allow you to pretty much go ahead and create a background that you can then reuse per each single page, and that will allow you to really work faster and smarter by creating changes only once and then apply that to as many pages as you want. Paloma say, I always wanted to know if it is frowned upon to put some work on Behance that wasn't created using Adobe products. I have a mix and I've been wanting to start putting work there. Absolutely, Paloma. Behance is all about sharing your creative work. You know, sometimes you can just like this here are just photos that you can take with your camera, with your phone. We are here to share creativity and, you know, to express our creativity as much as we want. So please go ahead by all means and create your portfolio and just explain in details all the different products that you use. I think that I have some of my earlier projects were cut out and there were stencil. I used to do graffiti, so there is spray paint. You can actually select the media, and there is a huge list of softwares and media that you can add in terms of the tools of creation once you create your project. Let's see if we have some time to dive into that. Time goes always so fast in here. Let me know if there is any other question in the chat. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to scroll real quick. Stefan Booth, welcome in. Lovely to have you here. MU, thank you so much for joining. Perfect. So let's get going here. So we created our margin, our grid. Again, go back to the replay if you want to know how to get there. And I'm just going to show you this version of the portfolio, which is already a little bit more advanced. So we can then hopefully, I'm going to show you how to create a little bit of this text, and of course paragraph styles. That's something that we mentioned yesterday, but we're going to just start creating in a second. But most importantly, if we run out of time, we have this backup copy that is ready to go, where everything is already applied, and then we can really focus on the interactive features. I want to make sure that I leave at least 20 minutes on that, because that's, I think, what is really mind-blowing. We're going to create buttons and really allow to have this experience. In fact, we have this EPUB interactivity that exactly what we were trying to work with yesterday. As I said, all you have to do is to click on the play button in order to preview your document, and you will see that every time that you press on play, you will be able to reload. So play doesn't do much more than just load all the changes. So if you make edits and they do not appear, make sure to press play to reload the preview. Yesterday we added this first button here that you can see at the very bottom of the page. They will allow you to move to next page. So this is a preview of the behavior that your interactive document will have once it's shared, and this allows you to really test everything before you move it into a URL and share it anywhere with the world. Fantastic. So let's keep going, and I'm just going to jump back so we can start from scratch in actually adding the content. So I'm going to go back here in the pages, and actually let's stay here on the parent, so we can start by styling our text. Something that we were doing at the end of yesterday was to start to create layers. So layers are extremely important. Every document in pretty much all the Creative Cloud apps starts with one single layer. A layer is a container for your content, and I'm going to call this layer parent, because that's where my parent pages, the content of my parent pages is going to be contained. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on the little plus icon to add a new layer, and I'm going to call this layer text. And you can create as many layers as you want, but most important thing, I can call this layer background. And then I will have another one for images. It looks like I've clicked a little bit too many times here. So I'm going to create one for photos. If you've done the same mistake as me and maybe click too fast and too many layers appear, don't worry, all can select it and then click on the little bin icon at the bottom of the panel and it's gone. Something else I want to show you here is that the importance of the layer stack is so something to keep in mind, because the disorder of the layer really matters. Things that are contained in layers that are on top of the stack will be displayed above. So we really want to make sure that everything that is displayed on the parent that is relevant and perhaps wants to stay on top, like the pages number and the title, is put on the bottom, where everything that is on the back, like the background, is at the very back. And then I usually layer text on top of photos or images or other graphic elements. Right, so it looks like we have enough layers to get started for our content. And I'm just going to go ahead and start by styling the text. So the way that we'll approach the style of the text in a document is I usually choose up to 2 fonts. They are in contrast. The font that we're going to be using today are one font called Abril and another font that I use very often called Montserrat. In order to style the text, you can select it and head to the properties panel. And from here, you will see that we have a character options, and you can simply input the name of the font that you like. So in this case, I already know that I'm going to use Montserrat, and I'm going to go ahead and choose Montserrat Medium to start with. Now, the beauty of working with InDesign is that you can browse fonts.adobe.com and so many more fonts available simply by selecting on Find More. And not only you can browse on, you can browse and have a look at them. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more so we can actually see what we're doing here. But once you hover on them, they will automatically get displayed and applied to your text. So you also have a live preview as you go. But more important as well, you can also download any of these fonts. As you can see, the one that have a little cloud with a tick are already part of my collection here in InDesign. But you can also go and find more and discover and automatically test, preview, and also activate your font without leaving InDesign. Now, if you want to go a little bit further, you can also use the filter to select the font that is more appropriate for you if you have a particular direction for your design. Now, for a deep dive and a deeper dive in fonts, you can always head on fonts.adobe.com. That's the expanded version of the library. If you want to have a little bit of a look of the font that we're going to be using today, you can also activate them from the website. So you can search, fonts.adobe.com, then go ahead on the search bar, simply type Abril, and then you can activate the entire family here simply by clicking on this little blue button, and it will automatically update and make them available for you throughout your Creative Cloud subscription, which is pretty exciting. Right, so let's go ahead and start to style it a little bit further. So we already selected the main character, which is Montserrat, and we're going to have it on a medium weight. And then we're going to go ahead and select all caps. So as you can see, as I go, I'll start to build a different characteristic and styling my font. Something that is very important for accessibility when creating for the web is to set a minimum size of 16. I tend to always go a little bit bigger if possible, but 16 really has to be the minimum. We can perhaps start with 18. And then you can click and drag anywhere from the bounding box in order to resize your text box here, so we can make sure that everything fits in one line. Now remember, for those of you that are just joining us today, the little letter A that is sitting here is simply a placeholder for our page number. Just a real quick, if you want to add this page number marker, you can find it under Type, Insert Special Character, Markers, and from there you will see that the current page number is there. Simply click on it and the letter A will pop up as a placeholder, which will automatically start to get implemented on all your pages, displaying the pages that you are visiting. Fantastic. So it looks like we are pretty much there with these restyling. How do we save in order to make more changes and also apply it and reiterate this font throughout the document? Well, there are different ways of doing so. You can simply click on this plus icon under the text style options, and this will create a new style. Otherwise, well, actually, let's do that. Let's find different way. Let's actually start by the first one I mentioned. So let's click on the plus icon, and all you're left to do is to simply here input the name. So I'm gonna call this one page number, just to have an idea and to remember what the position is, or maybe top subheader. You can do and really put whatever that is more relevant for you. I just put sub H. That's the way that I like to keep it nice and organized, so the name is not too long. And then I usually sometimes just say also the font, just so if you use more than one font throughout a document, you can just simply quickly apply and select the one that you want. So you can perhaps just call this one Montserrat 18, so you know that that's the correct font. Perfect. So once you click away or press return, this style will be saved, and you can access it at any time from the paragraph style panel. Again, if you do not have the paragraph style panel inside your workspace, click on the window menu, and then from there under styles, you'll be able to find the paragraph styles. Perfect. So from here, you can then double click on it, and then you can keep styling and making changes as you go. One thing that I wanted to change is the tab. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on tab, and you will see that we have the little tab, which sits here, that gives me the opportunity to see where to apply the tab. And what I want to do is also make sure that my preview is there so we can see the tab appearing correctly inside our page. So we can move the tab, and as you can see, as we do, the letter is going to move inside our text. We want to make sure that we keep it at the edge, so anytime we allow a little bit of space for the pages to grow and to display inside our document, but at the same time everything is going to be aligned to the right. Perfect. When you're done, simply click on OK. And then once we jump on our page right away, and by double clicking on its template, you will see that here we have page number 2, page number 3, and so on will automatically update. Yesterday we talked also about how to make a section. So if you want this page, which is at the moment page number 2 sitting under the cover, to become page number 1, again, right click on it, select select the numbering section option, and then from there make sure that we start page number at 1. And by doing so and clicking OK, you will see that automatically, of course, InDesign gives a warning to let us know that a change is about to happen. But here we have our thumbnail that display that we have our first page, which is our cover, and then we have another section with a new numbering. So our old page number 2 is now page number 1, and of course the numbering reflects that in a more appropriate way. Fantastic. So it looks like now time to start to add some photos, so then we can just move on into our navigation. In order to add the photo, I'm gonna use our rectangle frame tool by clicking and dragging inside the document. I'm gonna go ahead and create our first frame. And then I'm gonna go ahead and simply use the Option key while dragging in order to create a copy. And if you hold Shift, it will actually keep the same proportion. So we just kind of lock it in place. And because we've created a grid, we can now very simply drop it, making sure that it's symmetric. So I know that I left just one box from our grid here, and I'm gonna do the same. And if I go ahead and select them both, you can see that happening. Once we select them both, we can head to the stroke, and we just start to style our borders as well for framing our photos, actually framing Prince's photos that we're gonna be using. So I'm gonna go ahead and align the strokes to the outside. And again, I'm just going to do that to both of them together just to work a little bit faster. The beautiful thing here is that we can also start to apply the colors from our CC libraries into the frame. So let me show you how that works. You can just simply click on any of the color in order to apply it, or like we did before, right click on the color theme and then add it to our swatches. By doing so, you will see that we'll actually be able to access our swatches, and we have the color theme, sorry, the second color theme there ready for us to be used, which I think is very, very exciting. I was liking one of those green, by the way. This is my favorite color. I don't know in the chat what is going on. I can see the chat moving. Let me know and see if there is any question. Oh, Odari is in the chat. Odari, welcome in. And Christelle is saying, I love the portraits of Kladi you did. Odari, I'm so thankful. That's the beauty of being a family here together. Go and check Odari portfolio out. He's actually doing a full stream here on Behance on how to draw a portrait in fresco, and he used my face. So I'm very, very thankful. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. Lisa, welcome in here. Welcome everybody. And again, for those of you that are just joining us together, we are looking to build a digital portfolio, and we're just finishing up some techniques on how to import the content and how to apply some styling techniques to images, image frames, and text. And in just a second, we're going to start, actually in 5 minutes, and keep my eyes on the clock, we're going to start to implement our wonderful interactive techniques. So, and hopefully we're going to get time to export it as well. A lot of things to do in here. So once we create our frames and we start styling it, all we have to do is to head to the CC libraries and simply click and drag in order to import our photos. Now, if you make sure to select and click inside the frame, so the image will be automatically dropped within the frame, just like so. Now these images are very beautiful, high quality, so they will be so much bigger than our frame. But again, click and drag on both frames and use the shortcut Shift Option Command E. That will be Shift Alt Control E if you're working on a Windows machine. And by doing so, the images will be automatically resized proportionally to fit the size of the frame. And once you're done so, you can simply click on the little widget and then use the pan on your tablet or your trackpad if you want to, or simply click and drag one of the corner of the bounding box by holding Shift in order to resize them proportionally. Remember, if you do not hold Shift, you're going to end up distorting the photo. We do not want that. So again, either you can use literally pinch on your trackpad if you're, that's what I'm doing here on my laptop, or again, simply use one of the corner on the bounding box in order to resize them. Don't forget to press save and to save your document as you go. I absolutely love this photo. They're so gorgeous. The color palette is beautiful. Fantastic. So let's keep going and let's add a little bit more of content. Again, I'm going to start by, in this case, press the letter M to activate the rectangle tool. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a rectangle, which I'm going to fill with one of these wonderful colors that we have used here from our color palette. Now, as you can see, the color is going on the stroke because we were working on the stroke to quickly swap here in between the stroke and fill control. Let me zoom in so you can see that really quickly. Without clicking, all I'm doing is using the Shift X. So with Shift X, we can swap the color from the fill to the stroke. Well, if you simply want to change the focus from the fill to the stroke, you just simply press X and you see that they will appear on top, and that gives us the control that we're going to be using on our color. So hopefully that's a very, I love this shortcut. It's such a time saver. Hopefully you will find it useful as well. Another way of importing images is also by simply click and dragging it. So if you do not have a frame, InDesign will create that for you. So all you have to do is to click on the photo and drag it inside the document, and you will see that it will automatically load a preview, so you know which photos you are about to place inside your document. And then if you click and drag, it will automatically be placed inside of the document that you have placed in there. I don't know if you heard that noise. I got a little bit scared. I think there are a couple of cats fighting outside. Let me know in the chat if you heard that. Sorry, I got really scared by that noise. Hopefully they're doing okay, the little kitties. Right, fantastic. So again, you can also adjust the frame at any point. Simply click and drag in order to do so, and then you can move the image. So remember, you have two things that you have to resize and reposition when inserting your project, your photos, your images. One is the frame, and the frame is you can see the frame and you recognize the frame by the blue bounding box. Here it is. Let me zoom in so you can actually see it. So the blue bounding box around the photo determines the size of the frame. So that's the frame. Well, if we select on the widget, you will see that we have this brown or orange bounding box, and that's the size of the image. So remember, if you resize your image, the frame will stay the same. It's just the image size that it will change. But if you change the size of the frame, you will actually hide your photo, just like so. So that's the main difference between these two ways of cropping and resizing. Perfect. So let's move a little bit faster here, because I think it's about time to jump into our creative part. Something else that I want to add here is perhaps a text. So I'm going to go ahead, and that's what I wanted to show you in terms of creating contrast. I usually use a very bold type, a display type, and that will be our abrial that we're about to bring in right now, in contrast with the more clean and legible Montserrat that will be used for the text, and anything that is smaller, just again to help legibility. So I'm going to go ahead and borrow some text from here that I have lifted from Prince Behind page. So I think it's Gift from Heaven. We can go ahead and just simply type it in. So it's Gift from Heaven, just like so. And then by double clicking on it and add to other properties, let me show you how to work backwards. So something else that you can do in order to create a paragraph style. Click on the paragraph style here, and then we're going to start by creating a new paragraph style from scratch. Here it is. It appears as paragraph style number 1. We're going to call this one heading. And then from here, we can start styling it, making sure that our preview is ticked. So from the basic character formats, I'm going to go ahead and select the Abrial display font, which I'm going to use on the black weight. And then here it's time now to go crazy with some very bold text. So I'm gonna give it a size of 60 to start. The leading, which is the space between the line, will change and update automatically, although you can also modify it in order to give it a bespoke shape. You can have the case as normal, small caps, or all caps. That's absolutely up to you. And I'm just going to leave it like that. But something really cool is that you can also change its color. So if you select on color size, here it is, character colors, you will have automatically the color palette that we lifted from our photos by using the capture service. And in just a second, it will be there for you to use. You can work with iPhoneation. If you want to do not iPhonate, especially for title, I will recommend not to iPhonate, but that's up to you. Make sure just to untick it and then simply click on OK. Something else that I'm going to do here is to maybe place these in different lines, just like so. And then what happens if you're not happy with it? So it looks like here the text is quite small for the page. It doesn't give me the feel that I want. I want it bigger. Well, you can always go back at any time from your paragraph styles, maybe spell its name correctly, and also from the basic character format, you can just resize it. So here I'm just going to go very bold. I'm just going to use 150 over 160, and you can really see the leading coming into play here by spacing out. And then you can just simply detail it as much as you want. So perhaps I'm going to move a little bit higher up. Depending on fonts, the relationship between size and leading, it's different. In this case, we can get away with a leading that is a little bit less of the size, but it's usually leading, it tends to be a couple points higher than the main size, just to give a little bit of legibility and breathing space. Fantastic. We're happy with this for now. Just gonna press on OK, and we're just gonna keep going here. Now make sure that we start to use our grid, so we have our images and our content that is nicely distributed inside our pages. And something super cool that I want to show you that is also very useful when working with our parent page is how to add shadows to create a mockup without doing much work. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on the parent, and what I'm going to do here is to press the letter M, or you can simply click on the rectangle tool in order to add a rectangle. So I want to make sure to press the letter W in order to enter the normal mode so we can actually see our grid, and I'm going to click and drag to create this rectangle. I usually try to extend it a little bit further from our margin, because again, once it's going to be exported, we're not going to see anything that sits outside the black line. But I also want to drag it into the middle, just like so. Now I know that this is sitting in the middle of the page because our pink smart guides are there to help us to determine where the center is. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply a gradient. Once you click on the gradient, all you're left to do is to click and drag, and you will see this line will show you where the gradient is heading, and you can change that as many times as you want. So again, make sure to create an horizontal line. That's the sort of line that we want. And then once you're done, I'm going to head to my properties panel and make sure that I change my blending mode here from the opacity. So what I did, I went under appearance, clicked on the opacity level, and from there select from one of the drop down menu one of the blend mode that will allow us to control the behavior of this gradient, of this color, whatever shape, when overlaid on another color. So I'm going to set this blend to multiply, and by doing so we will just have the darker color showing up, so just the shadow. Hopefully you already see where I'm going with this. And then I'm also going to tone down the opacity by using the slider, just to make it a subtle, maybe 20, 15. We don't need it much. We just need a little bit of a shadow. So we're sort of mimicking the idea of having a page spread open, even if it's a digital document. And now all we're left to do is to press on select the rectangle, select Command C or Control C if you're working on Windows, and then Control F or Command F. That will be Illustrator. Shift Option Command V or Shift Alt Control V on Windows to paste in place. You can find these commands also under Edit. You will see here the shortcuts. So copy is Control C, and paste in place is Shift Option Control, or sorry, Shift Option Command V. So now we have two of these overlaid. I'm going to go ahead to the properties panel, which will change accordingly every time that we select any of the element here. And I want to flip it horizontally. And then I'm just going to click and drag again by holding the shift key to keep it in place. So now we created a symmetrical copy, which we also flipped horizontally. But look what happens here. Once I go back into my pages, our parent is applied. We can see here that the parent A, that is the one where we were editing, is applied. So automatically we have this idea, this shadow that makes our document in what, like 2 minutes, look at like it's an open spread. And that works great with colors. Now, something that I want to recommend here, I haven't been very organized with my layers. You can see that this shape is actually sitting on top of the parent. So I want to make sure to bring this down into the background, and you can see it right away because we use our multiply, the color and the shadow will also apply. So I was very excited while sharing the content. It looks like I've not been very precise with my layers, but you know, that's the beauty of working with this app. You can always go back and make sure that you then distribute everywhere in the right place. And you probably noticed, but the color of the layers will also reflect on the color of the bounding box. So again, the photo is blue, the background is green, and the text is red. And if you want to access the little guides that we have created, sorry, the little shadows that we created, you won't be able to do so unless you access the parents. So if you try to click on them, again, that's the beauty of working with the parents. Imagine it as it's like an image background that you already create, but you can also head on the pages there to make sure that you access it at any time. Fantastic. So we have some elements here that we have created. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that these are also inside the right layers. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag it into the photo. And by the way, if you're not happy with the colors, you can always change the colors of your layers by double clicking on them. And you see here that you have a color, and they will allow you to pick any color if you want. So we had 2 blues in there. I just want to make sure that we differentiate them. Odari, thank you so much. I can see all your comments in the chat. I'm just going to go ahead and scroll to see if there is any work. Bill is saying the work I used to do before discovering paragraph and character style. Yes, we're going to see in a second why they're so useful. Steve is saying beautiful photo. Yes, Prince did an absolutely wonderful, wonderful job with his images. They really caught my eyes. Paloma say, I love cats, so I hate to hear or see them fighting. I know, I agree. That's why I got so freaked out before. I was so scared. Let's see if there is anything. Did you guys hear them? Let me know. Let me know if you actually heard them. Bill is saying, I bet Prince will think it's a gift from heaven. Well, his photos are a gift from heaven as well. So here we're all about supporting each other and working together. Anissa, thank you so much for being here. Anissa is saying, this is a great idea. Is there a way to use these on our portfolio pages? Well, you can always export and use this technique with any, you know, those are just gradient and shape that you can add. So the best way, I think, would be to create an image or to export your document as a JPEG and then just upload this as an actual photo. So you can actually use it anywhere you want. Fantastic. But let's move forward, and it's now time to focus on the interactive stuff. So you can go ahead and replicate as many times as you want this content. Again, the beauty of working with these paragraph style, I'm just going to go ahead and simply paste some text in here, some text, so you can actually see it in action. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy a new page, and then we can go ahead and simply delete this photo. The frame is still there. Let's go back into normal mode so we can see it, and then all we're left to do is to bring in a new image over there and maybe change the colors there inside the background. So inside the background by picking any other color from our color palettes, just like so. Now make sure that you select it first so you can actually change. And then look what happened. You can go ahead and press the letter T and then click and drag to paste the text that we had before, which I think it was white. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste it over here so we can hopefully see it. Here it is. So this text, it says portraits in blue. How do we change it to the same text style that we used before? Well, that's the beauty of paragraph style. All you have to do is to go back and select heading with your paragraph style selected, and then you can use the option command C to make sure that everything fits inside your box, your bounding box. And let me move it back here. We should be able to see our portraits in blue right away appearing with the right style. So if you don't see it, I'm just going to go back and just change it so we can actually see it where there is a little bit of more space. I'm just going to change the color of the text to a black so I can just bring it into the white pages, and we'll be able to see it, and we'll be able to see the magic of paragraph style really taking place in one click. So I'm just going to go ahead and make the text box larger because I know that that text is quite big. Again, head to the paragraph style, click on adding, and boom, everything is already styled and you can apply it again and again. Now, the reason why I've used this blue that doesn't match is because I want to show you another wonderful technique that you can use when working with InDesign. Let's say that you have a document and your client comes back and says, hey, you know what? I really don't want to use many blues. I just want to use one blue. And you've done that and you've used that blue all over your document. How can you change it real quick? Well, this is a quite still brand new. I think it's a 1 year, I don't know, 1 year and a half or 2 years old feature. You can access the color that you want to change from your swatches panel, select Control and click on it and choose Find This Color right here. Oops, here it is. If you select on Find This Color, you can then have the color selected, and then you can change the color to whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and select one of the green that we were using and simply click on Change All. And you will see it by pressing on OK. InDesign will change it. Now, it looks like that wasn't the right color applied, so let me go ahead and make sure that that color is applied first to our shape, and let's do that again so it hopefully works. So find this color and we can go ahead and click on Change All, and now you will see the color is changed. I just picked a different blue from the color Creative Cloud libraries rather than from the swatches. So make sure that you actually select the right color before you move into doing this. That's so useful because it will actually apply to the entire document. So imagine that if you have iterated this process with other pages, it will automatically change them there. Right, so let's go ahead and start by adding, I'm just going to go ahead and borrow some of this feature from the cover just because I want to move forward and just add our pages control. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy and then paste. I know that's, you know, I'm cheating a little bit in here just to save time. Please take your time and, you know, spend it as much as you want into refining your portfolio. I just wanted to make sure that Prince's name is there and we create a few pages. Of course, you know, you can spend your time and really develop your portfolio here. Again, maybe we can just use this one since we have a little bit more pages organized. And that's Prince, by the way. Look how beautiful. I love this photo. I love the color palette. It's so natural, so gorgeous. Right, so let's move on and let's keep adding the interactive feature. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2 pages, and I'm going to start by selecting this B parent. And I'm going to go ahead and apply these B parents to our main pages here, to our cover, because the cover is going to have a different navigation from the other pages. In fact, in our cover we will only find the move forward, while in the other pages we need a move forward and a move back, so we can actually navigate our page as much as you want back and forward. And maybe we can add a home button. Maybe we can just have, you know, back to index or back to cover at the very top of these pages, so it will bring us back to the top pages if you want. Right, so let's move on and double click on this B parent, and I'm going to go ahead and delete everything that we had in here. And because we have already this button that we created yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and copy this over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy everything that is on A parent number 1, press Command C, jump into parent B, and again, use the Shift Option Command V or Shift Alt Control V if you're working on Windows. And from here we're going to paste this content. Now make sure again that this content is placed on the top layer, especially when working with navigation. You really want to make sure that all these elements are correctly placed inside of the top layer. Oh, let me go back into the actual parents and see what is going on here, and then let's back into our layers and place them inside the layer. So we'll see that now they change into red, and that means they are sitting at the very top. Fantastic. So once they're there, we already have this move forward button, and all we have to do is to make sure that we select and make a copy on the other side. Of course, in this case, we're gonna have the back pages as well. And oops, we actually need to add that to our parent B. So here I'm just going to select photography portfolio. So this is the cover, and here all we need is have photography portfolio and the arrow on the right. And I'm also going to make sure that my text is aligned to the right side of the page, and that would be perfect for our cover. That's all we need. And then let's move back to parent B, which is apply to the pages, and you will see that the letter B and the letter A shows very clearly, so you know what is going where. And we're gonna go ahead and add the back page. So again, we created our arrow. We're gonna bring it here at the same height with our margin. Make sure to change the size of your bounding box. You can always use the option Command C to fit the bounding box to your button. And I also want to make sure that this one here is actually fitting at the edges, so we make sure that everything is nice and organized in our document. How do we create the button? Simply select on the element. It can be an image, it can be a text, it can be whatever you want. Just make sure to select it, this one here, and then add to buttons and form, and from there make sure to type. If under type you select button, and then make sure to name it correctly. Especially if you create an interactive document with many buttons, you want to make sure that you name them correctly. So I'm going to call this one back, or back page, whatever you prefer. And then all you have to do is to click on the plus icon, and from here you can select what you want it to do. So in this case, I want to make sure to go on previous page with this button, and you will see the behavior is added here. You can choose the event, so how and when you can have a release, tap, click. I use the release or tap is because it's very useful also when working on tablet. So you make sure that on phone and tablet that works pretty well. And once we head back to our pages, you will see the route automatically. This is now implemented on all our pages in the document. Isn't that super fast and amazing how these work? I just absolutely love it. Again, let's bring back our EPUB for interactivity preview and click on the play button to load the content and the new button that we have added. And you will see here that we have perhaps a little bit of double text on side our cover pages. So let's make sure that we go back. That's the beauty of the preview, so we can see if we have any mistake. Perfect. It looks like there was an overlay, and as you see, it didn't change on top of the preview because we haven't loaded the new version yet. So again, press play and the preview will automatically take a second and then load, and boom, the change is there. You can see here that we have the next page button, so we can start clicking on it and we can start to move forward within our pages or backward in our pages. So that portfolio is pretty much ready to go. And of course here you can add your Instagram. Let's do that real quick. Actually, I'm just gonna place that on our masters as well. So you can do, by the way, buttons inside a singular page or inside the master. The master, of course, will allow that to repeat everywhere, while if we just put it on a single page. So let's actually do this. I'm going to change this to white just to make sure that it stands out nice and clear. And again, it will automatically, the change will automatically take place inside the page. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add the @URL for Prince Instagram. Let me go back into his Instagram, make sure that I got it correctly. Here it is, and we can see how we can actually add the URL. We've got 5 minutes to go before we publish this document and we see it live, and I'm going to try to share it in the chat if possible as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add here his Instagram name and then double click on it, and under hyperlinks I'm going to go ahead and click on the plus icon, and I'm going to go back into Instagram and double click on the URL so I can copy it correctly, and then from InDesign simply press on paste, and from here all we want to do is to select on OK, and we have our link to our to Prince Instagram ready to go. I'm just gonna place this one. Let's see if there is enough contrast against the blue. Maybe not. We can just keep it here. Oops, at the top. I kind of liked it blue on blue a little bit more. And by the way, you know, we can actually make that even smarter. So we can actually make his name clickable. Let's do this. Let's actually apply the URL here on the actual name. Let's make it even a little bit bolder. So here it is. We have actually tested, and you can see that automatically it will check the status of the URL. So we know now that this group, it will allow us to go ahead and check our link, and if it works, if you click on it, it brings you right away. So you can actually test right away the link before publishing. So we know that that works. Perfect. So we have our link, we have our pages. It's time to publish our document. All we have to do is to click on the share icon located at the top of the InDesign page, and from there, make sure to publish online. And once you publish online, you have the opportunity to publish your document by giving a name. So I'm going to call it digital portfolio, and then, or you can call it, give it a name, or I'm going to call it digital portfolio Prince. And then here we can just say digital portfolio sample from Adobe Live with Kladi. You can call it whatever you want. Feel free to reach out on my Instagram as well. If you want to show me your work, you can just create it, send a link and share with me. And then you can go ahead and click on publish. And once you do so, your document will be automatically available with a link to share inside your social media. You can use the link to share on your email. You can embed it on your website. You can do whatever you want. Before doing that, make sure that you select view document, and you will see that the URL is ready for you, hosted inside a website and an Adobe server. So it's there for you, and you can use our button online, and you can see our beautiful preview that looks like a photographic book just there. And we can go back, and if there are any changes, like for example, we see that the transparency is not loading for some reason there, or we have some issue with the images, because it looks like on some images is loading, on some images is not loading. I think that I didn't do that on this document. Well, that's the beauty of working with that. I know that we have 3 minutes, but I'm going to make this change happen. So it looks like on this document that I used, I haven't done the shades correctly. So I'm just going to go back on the A parent, select them, head back to our properties panel, and I want to make sure that I set the opacity to multiply, so is there and is there for us to work. Sometimes it's just a render option if you wanted to hide them, or for whatever reason, if you are in a rush like I am right now because I have 1 minute left, you can also just simply hide them and save your document and go back to your pages. And once you do so, all you're left to do here is to simply go back to publish online. But in this case, instead of a publish a new document, we're going to go back and select update existing document and click on publish. So look what happened here. Your document will be overwritten, so you do not need to send a new document or to say, sorry, there is a mistake. Nope, nobody's going to know. They're not going to know. So all you're left to do here is to simply go back into your browser. This is the link that I had the error before. For some reason, it wasn't loading the transparency. Well, if you now click on return, hopefully it's already updated live. Let's go ahead and see. We do not have the margin anymore. So not only you create a link that you can share with anybody. Let's see if I can place it in the chat in this very last minute, so everybody can access the work and you can actually see the navigation taking place. Let me go ahead, and we're gonna see two Kladis here because I'm gonna end up into the live chat in just a second so I can share this with you. Here we go, and let me and see. We do not make sure that we have no volume. One of me, it's enough. Here it is. So you do have now the link in the chat, so you can just simply join and see the work that I've created here. You can use the little arrow in order to navigate, and of course there is much more work to do, but hopefully the work that we've done together, thanks to the lovely Prince, which I say hi to, that allow us to use this photo, and to I'm going to give him one more shout out. Make sure to go ahead and follow him on Behance. You can actually share, preview, and use these techniques to create your own portfolio, and hopefully to share it everywhere. Of course, the InDesign file can be exported as a PDF or JPEG and share just an image, but I think that using this feature and create an interactive document, if you do not have a website, that's the perfect way to already have a landing place where you can share your beautiful work. And again, it doesn't have to have a ton of pages. 3-4 pages are enough to communicate what you do and what you to be hired for. Thank you so much, everybody, to be here with us. I can't believe that the time is already gone so fast. I have a ton of fun here with you, everybody. Gareth, Odari, Sean, beautiful to see you here. Lovely Val, thank you so much for being here. Val was already on it with the link, clickable link. Thank you so much, Val. Well, everybody, thank you so much. Hi, Julie. Lovely to see you. And hopefully I will see you very soon. But don't forget to stay tuned in, because now we have the XD Creative Challenge coming up. Go and grab a glass of water and come back. There is a ton of fun as usual. Keep going on here on Behance. Behance.net/live. That's the place where you can express your creativity and learn from this wonderful, wonderful community. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a lovely day, and I will catch you very soon. Bye.